Hi, welcome back to AskEma.com. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. So we're here with some weekend Q&A, and before we begin, I'd just like to cover a couple of things. Last week I did post a video regarding buyer beware. And of course, that does apply to anywhere you buy real estate. So anywhere in the United States is fine. Things to look for in real estate professionals, things to stay alert and aware of in terms of buying real estate, who to align with, and where to get the facts from, right? Bigger isn't always better. And so, sometimes it is, but in this particular instance, bigger is not always better. So just because an agent has a bazillion listings doesn't mean that they're actually a great buyer's representative. So since we're covering buying and not selling, I want you to be aware of those facts. So you might want to check that video out. But right now, today, we are covering weekend Q&A. And it's going to be a little bit brief and quick, and I'm sorry, I'm adjusting myself, and I really probably shouldn't, but it doesn't matter. So today I'm wearing my glasses, so do I look a little smarter? Here's my slogan for the day. The advice is free. The information is priceless. So just worry about what comes out of here and what's up here, and let's not focus too much on what's going on here, because this will constantly change, and so will my environment as we move forward. As long as I get the message out and I try to help everyone I can, then I'm happy. And so weekend Q&A. As a first-time home buyer, what should I look for in a buyer's agent? Well, that's a really good question, right? So as a first-time home buyer, there are many, 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 many things that you do need to keep at the forefront of your search and journey. Number one, what do you look for in a buyer's agent? Someone who is going to be ethical and transparent, someone who has a lot of experience closing buyer side transactions. And the only reason you want them to have a lot of transactions closing buyers is so that they have the experience to look and identify and see things that you would not normally see. See, if it's somebody who hasn't had that exposure yet to homes, or doesn't even own a home, or never had walked through that entire process themselves, how would they be able to guide you? So this is what I usually say to people. I say, find someone who's honest and ethical and transparent. Find someone who has knowledge in where you're purchasing, whether it's a townhouse, a brownstone, a colonial, a ranch, a split. Make sure they know what they're looking at themselves, and so that they can help you. Some people love tutors. There's, things that come along with those style homes. You want to make sure someone's well versed in the area, in the type of real estate that's for sale in the area, in the price per square foot, the negotiation tactics of the listing agents there. You want someone who's sort of got their roots in the community in which you're looking to purchase, okay? I know we all have cousins and friends that sell real estate, and some of us feel like we want to give them the chance, and that's okay, you can. You can give them the chance. They can team up with someone who might know more. You can also give them the chance to refer you out to someone who knows more, and they can still make a commission. So we don't want to cut anybody out, and we want everyone to prosper and everyone to pay their bills and feed their family, right? After all, this is work. So be nice, be kind, be truthful, be transparent. Trust someone that loves you and cares about you. Trust someone that's in your community, and go on it that way. So you want to look for transparency. You want to look for someone who has experience and knowledge in the area and the community, and someone who has walked the walk before and has just a little bit of extra knowledge and ability to see the flaws, just like a jeweler. And as I mentioned in my buyer beware, jewelers are trained, their eyes are trained to find flaws, and so real estate professionals, the more we see and the more we do, the more we see the flaws. So trust us on that path and journey, okay? So any other questions, please email me, ping me, find me on the internet. I'm around. So someone had written in this is an interesting question because it doesn't really apply inside of the city, the 5 boroughs, but it's interesting. It came in, and it does apply in Long Island, and it does apply in Pennsylvania, and a lot of New Yorkers move that way, and it also probably New Jersey. So what is radon, and what should they be concerned about it? Absolutely 100% you need to worry about radon. It's sort of like what you would find lead in New York City. Very, very dangerous to your health. Radon is a gas. It comes up through the earth and into your home. And if you buy real estate in Pennsylvania, you will be doing a radon test. I highly suggest one also on Long Island and New Jersey and other parts of this amazing country. These gases that come up are harmful to your health. So there are filters and there's ways to make sure that your home gets radon proofed. So check with a local home inspector. Local. Don't drag cousin Billy from New York City into Pennsylvania. There's no need for that. Just find somebody local who's familiar with radon. There's no reason to drag someone all the way out to the, east end of Long Island. It's okay. This is fine. This is when you let yourself find the best person for where you're buying real estate in that area and do your home inspection and make sure they're well aware of all of the things that come along with each different community. Look, when I was upstate, there's so many things to look for there. Septic tanks that are leaking or seepage, well water that's terrible, everything's chemically treated. There's so much to think about that's underground. If I would drag someone from Brooklyn and say, hey, come up there, and he only inspects like condos, what would he know about all that unless he himself has put himself through that process? Highly unlikely. So find someone local. No need to schlep cousin Bob out there, okay? Leave him home. So yeah, radon, dangerous, negative. Find another home or make sure you can resolve the problem. What's a negative? Oh, here's a good question, especially here in Brooklyn and in San Francisco. We live on many streets that are sloped. Actually, Carroll Street right here goes down. We call it the Valley, and I'm almost at the bottom, but not quite. So this question here comes in as, what's the negative thing about being on a sloped street if you're at the bottom? There's the biggest negative factor there about being at the bottom is not because you're at the bottom. It's simply rain, water, street flow, overflow. It'll all come down to you. So those are the things to look out for if you're buying a house that's on a slope. So whether you're in Park Slope, and you're at the bottom, not at the high point, just know water will collect there. So make sure all your grading and everything is pitched correctly so it pushes it out and it goes into some drainage. So look for drainage, look for properly drained areas. Make sure your basements are dry and not dampness causing mold and new lead. So be careful. Cities cracking down on mold, and it is serious, it is harmful to your health. So just keep that in mind. It's one of the only negatives I could find from living down on a slope. I mean, at the end of the day, who wants to walk up the hill all the time, right? It's so much easier to just pull up and you're down at the bottom. Don't worry about anything else. Water, water, water. Big deal. Big damaging factor in homes is water, moisture, mold. So please just keep your eyes and ears open for that. Again, hire a local inspector who's familiar with the area, the landscape, the topography, and they can help you navigate that, and there are ways to control that, okay? Sometimes we can't always control moisture in basements. It's underground, so there's going to be moisture. But anyway, other than that, happy house hunting. The last thing that came in again was a little bit more clarity on agency disclosure, and in my rent to own we did cover the rental market, renter landlord agency disclosure. In sales and in purchasing, we have a buyer and seller New York State agency disclosure. It looks the same as the rental one. The words are different. Instead of landlord, leasee, this one will say buyer and seller clearly. Just know. Main thing, and this gets a little complicated, so please, I prefer to answer this actually in person or via email, but it's important. A buyer's agent has the buyer's agent is one who's engaged by a buyer, okay, to represent them in their best interest in a transaction. The only thing that buyer agent must do to the listing agent or the seller themselves is to disclose your ability to purchase the home. So we can't hide that. So if you don't have any money, or we know that you're kind of like on rocky grounds, we can't keep that from the seller. We're not supposed to keep that from the seller. Okay, so we need to disclose that. So we disclose all facts known to the agent materially affecting the buyer's ability and or willingness to perform a contract to acquire or sell his property. That's our obligation to the seller, but the bulk of the responsibility and obligations are to you. So this is why picking a buyer's agent is so important, right? Because now they're obligated to you by agency disclosure. If you're choosing a buyer's agent, they should know a little bit about where you're going and what you're buying, right? And they should have walked that walk before, and they should be able to guide you accordingly without breaking any laws, of course, but at least giving you the right resources and ways to make the best educated decision for who? You, because it's buyer beware. You, the onus is on you. The word onus, O-N, on us, onus, so it's on you all the time. So whether you have a professional at the end, when they collect their check, it's over, transaction done, you own this property now. So please, always dot your I's, cross your T's. Check in with me from time to time if you have any other questions. But again, buyer's agent, if you're a buyer's agent, if you're ever asked to sign this sheet and you are a buyer, and it clearly says that you're okay with the agent being the seller's agent, please read the first paragraph on seller agency. You want to make sure that that's clear, that that you fully understand and are aware that they are obligated to the seller and not to you, the buyer. And I know some buyers out there panic. They're not going to get the house if they don't sell it, and they feel like, oh, it doesn't matter anyway. It's just a piece of paper. It'll matter once you're in that apartment and you're settling in and something goes wrong. You'll be like, oh, now I understand the difference. Too late. So here goes. Make sure you read it carefully. It's pretty simple, not so complicated. Make sure you know what side of the fence you're on at all times, and that's all this is a disclosure. We're just disclosing our relationship with the seller or our relationship with you, the buyer. And just make sure that there's no gray area there, that you are comfortable and you know that you fit in one or the other side of the deal. When it becomes a dual agency, meaning the brokerage relationship with the seller is one, right? So you work at XYZ Real Estate, and so does the buyer's agent. That could be deemed a dual agency. Okay? So make that clear. I know you're checking off buyer's agent and all that hunky-dory stuff, but just make sure you realize, buyer, I'm talking to the buyer right now, that is a dual agency. There's one big brokerage company. Two agents that work for the same company becomes dual agency. Make sure they define their relationship with you clearly and carefully. This is a big deal in the Department of State. All right? Don't get trapped. Don't get caught. Make sure they're working in your best interest. Have them clarified. Have them repeated. Have your attorney read it. Have your attorney go over it with you. If something isn't sitting well, use your instincts. Use your gut. Just say, hey, listen, I know this is a simple form. It's really not meant to be complicated. It's not a contract or anything like that, but it's just like a little fuzzy to me. What side of the fence are you on? And I know it's the same company and stuff. That area needs some more clarity. Write into me if you need some more help. Anyway, I hope you love my glasses. Again, the advice is free. The information is priceless. AskEma.com. Ask Ema Giacoli on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm out there. Just find me. 362 Carroll Street, Tyler Vincent Real Estate Owner Broker. Yours truly. Till the next video. Ciao.